So hello once again, good evening in Poland, good morning to everyone in Chicago. I'm happy to welcome you here today. My name is Anna Kertyczak. I'm the coordinator of BioLAB program this year as I'm stepping in for my colleague Patrycja Dona-Burska. And I have two wonderful guests with me here today, Weronika Łukaszczyk and Siarhei Yanushkevich, who are joining me from Chicago. And in two absolutely not related process, I have chosen the two of them, although as it turns out, both from Jagiellonian University and both currently in the University of Chicago, they will be sharing their experience about BioLAB program with you and with us. So first of all, let me start with the 2 words of introduction about the BioLAB program. The BioLAB program offers a year of advanced research experience, allowing one to work on important and challenging projects at one of the top universities or institutions in the United States of America. The recruitment is run by the Polish-US Fulbright Commission, but the program is fully funded by its 4 host institutions. That is the University of Virginia, University of Chicago, UT Southwestern Medical Center, and Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation. The offer is a 1-year research traineeship in US laboratory for people enrolled in a graduate program in Poland with their major field of study in life sciences, biophysics, or medical fields of study, like, for instance, biotechnology, biology, medicine, pharmacy, and etc. I should mention that the traineeship is intensive and time-consuming, but I suppose that our guests will also tell us today that it's also very rewarding. During that time, one works under the mentorship of experienced professionals, but also one has the opportunity to participate in campus life and engage with American culture. The deadline to apply is February 2nd next year. Today's webinar is called I call it a Q&A for the undecided. So our aim would be to shed some more light on everyday life while on the BioLAB program, and perhaps also on some ups and downs during the program, or essentially living in the US for an entire year. So my guests today are Weronika Łukaszczyk. Weronika is from Jagiellonian University. She's completing right now completing her 5th month at the University of Chicago, where she is in the OSCAN lab. Weronika, could you tell us a bit more about yourselves? What do you study? Which year, and what is the topic of your project in the lab?
Okay, so as you mentioned, I'm from Nagranie University, and I studied medicinal chemistry actually. But now I'm more interested in structural biology, and I joined the structural biology lab at the University of Chicago. So I'm in Enkin Oskan's lab. We study proteins that are important for neural connectivity, neural wiring in C. elegans.
Thank you. And our second guest is Siarhei Yanushkevich, who has just recently graduated from the Jagiellonian University, which he left in the academic year 23-24 to join BioLAB traineeship, also at the University of Chicago, where he decided to stay for 2 years. And as I understand, right now he's back in Chicago. So Siarhei, why are you back in Chicago? Tell us.
Yeah, you're right, Anna. Thank you. So yeah, I just finished my 2 years program. So basically, here you can be invited for 1 year, but then if you worked well and if you like to work in the lab, you are, and your PI is agree, you can extend the program for a 2nd year. And in my case, when I finished the BioLAB program, these 2 years I spent here, I was also hired to continue my projects as research analyst. So now I'm working in Chicago. And I'm working in Excel Concepcion's lab, where we study how ion channels and transporters shape T-cell function and immune response. And when I was looking for an internship, my goal was to find a project that combined biochemistry and immunology. So this position was a perfect match for me. So and I especially like working here, maybe because of 2 things. First, because it's the project of my strong interest, and second, because of the atmosphere in the lab. So I hope to discuss this later.
Thank you very much. Thank you both for sharing your time and experience with us and joining us for this Q&A. We will work in such a way that I will ask questions either to both of you or to one of each of you. And to those who are with us, please feel free to add your questions in the chat. I will manage that while we are speaking, but also in the end, I'll open up the floor and then enable the option to just unmute yourselves and ask questions face to face, so to say. So let's start with your motivation and beginnings in the program. Siarhei, you told us a little bit about the motivation, but could you add some more, like what prompted or inspired you to apply specifically for the BioLAB program?
So I can say that quite early in during my studies, I learned that basically like broaden your experience in science is very important. So all conference that you're participating, different labs where you work in, and internships are highly important for you to develop your scientific career. So I was always looking for different opportunities and try to apply for summer schools, summer internships. And then, so I just found in Jagiellonian University, like the advertisement that would be a meeting for such an internship, BioLAB. And I was amazed because also like one of my dream was to visit America, to work in America. So I thought, great. It's like very interesting opportunity. And then when I checked like the institutions, the projects that they offer, I decided that, okay, so I have at least 5-6 projects that I want to apply for. And yeah, that was my motivation basically.
Thank you. And Weronika, did you have prior experience, like research experience, that helped you decide to go abroad, to go to the US for BioLAB program?
Yeah, I had. So similarly as Sergey already mentioned, I was also aware that it's very important in research that you have some international experience. And I also, joined some summer schools, internships abroad. So that, first of all, gave me some research experience that I used then for my application to BioLAB, and that really helped. But also I got to experience this European culture in science. But one of the things that I already in my past experiences learned that in America this science culture is quite different, and I also wanted to experience that in firsthand. So yeah.
Thank you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that both of you left in your final year of master's studies, right? So would you tell that this is a good time to go? What about the formalities related to leaving before your thesis defense? Did you like extend your studies or take an academic leave of absence? How did it look like in your case?
So our university provides, oh, sorry, Weronika, maybe I'll say a few words and then you can continue or expand what I say. So our university actually provides the possibility to basically to defer the defense of dissertation for even 2 years. So I know that some universities allow you to defer it only for a year. But then, for example, if you decide to stay for a year in BioLAB program, it's not the problem. If you want to stay like for a second year, usually people come back, defend their thesis during like between the first and the second year, and then they come back with their degree. So it's usually not the problem. I think like going to BioLAB from your last year in masters is good time to go, because first of all, it's like the time, an extra year or 2 years maybe before your PhD, that helps you first to decide if you want to do your PhD. Second, better understand what areas you like more, because PhD is 4 or 5 years where you basically, it's like a marriage. So you want to dedicate yourself for quite a long period, and you don't want to be mistaken. So this year or 2 years of internship really helps you, and also defers this decision for later, and also gives you huge experience before you apply for PhD. So I would say this is a very good time to go. Some people I know can go like also after their first year doing their masters. I know that so basically it's harder. It's harder to compete with the second years in this selective process. But if you feel confident, please, yeah, it's your choice.
Thanks. And Weronika, over to you.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't have like a leave of absence. I just formally repeat my last year, even though I do not repeat like any classes like in practice. Yeah, and I would also agree that after you finish your 5 years of studies is like the best time. You are done with your master's, like your research for your master's, and you should also be done with the writing. At least you should. And yeah, the only thing that you have to do is just the defense. So you're basically like free. And that's also a great point that first of all, you gain experience before you apply for your PhD, which can yeah, give you some more points when you apply for more maybe competitive positions. And also it's a great to experience to really validate if you really want to do PhD, because this work here is very like similar to what a typical PhD student does.
Thank you. And you told us that you had some previous research experience also abroad, not in the US. Could you tell us what do you do right now during your internship? How does that internship look in practice, and in what way does it differ from those previous experiences?
So I would say that because it is 1 year, you have more possibilities to really develop your project. So in comparison to my other yeah, research experiences where I only joined the lab for like 2 months or 1 month, you barely scratch the surface of the topic. And yeah, you can of course learn and gain some experience, but it doesn't compare to what we do here, because here you manage your project more in depth. You have this ownership of your project to some extent. Yeah, and you can gain way more experience. You can learn way more techniques just because you are here longer and like fully commuted as well.
Thank you. And Sergey, in your case, what did your internship look like in practice? And if you could also tell us a little bit about that mentorship that you had from the PI or some other person in the lab.
Yeah, so as Veronika already mentioned, so it's really resembles how you will work during your PhD. Basically, at some point you become like the leader of your own project, which doesn't mean that because, for example, like people and me as well, I was thinking like I was kind of afraid of PhD because I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm not prepared enough to lead my own project. I'm not a professor. Why? So, but in reality, even if you lead your own project, you read papers, you design and plan your experiments, but you always discuss with your PI, with your mentor, details, right? The ideas. So you discuss your plans and your results. So every time you have this support from your PI, support from your colleagues. And here in my case, I have like ideal balance, I would say, of support and independence. So during the first month of the internship, I learned how to work with mouse-derived T cells, perform flow cytometry, analyze and interpret data. And once I became confident in lab-specific techniques and familiar with the theoretic background of projects that I worked with, so I began designing experiments independently, but always and regularly discussing the plans and results with my PI and colleagues. And also we have lab meetings every week where you can share some scientific news, discuss like organization matters, but also present your data. Like routine in the lab, basically you're independent enough to plan your own schedule. So you decide when to do your experiments in what manner, but also you should have like an agreement about your plans with your PI. So sometimes you can work on the weekends, sometimes not. It always depends on your experiments. Sometimes you can spend in the lab 12 hours because experiment demands it, but sometimes you just sit and analyze your data. So it's always flexible. Usually PIs are okay with you coming like either early in the morning or a bit later if you want. So you should just be productive in your own way, produce results, and if PI happy with you, you will be happy too.
Thanks. I even noted it down that you said that you have a ideal balance between support and independence. I love that sentence. But let me sort of metaphorize what you said right now, that what you have is you have the ownership of the process, right? So that you decide when you work, what are the next steps, and so on and so forth. But your PI is responsible and has the ownership of the goal of the bigger project, right? So if you could, because you mentioned several people with whom you cooperate during that project. During your 2 years, was it always the same project? And how big was the team with whom you've been working?
So I was actually like a lucky one because I came to like a very brand new lab. So at time I came to the lab, it was only 1 year after this lab was established. So at the beginning we were like a very small team. It was only like 5 people together with our PI, but then it started growing. So new people came, and projects always were always like developing. So you start with something like with some particular thing, then you start like learning more things, and usually when you gain some like answers for your scientific questions, you get even more new questions. So basically the project is like a living matter. It's always changing. And yeah, so but usually it's like inside the boundaries of like the area of interest of your PI and your lab. So first your PI will give you some direction, but then after you get new results, this direction can basically change. And yeah, about like collaboration. So in our lab, we strongly collaborate with each other. So basically, every person in the lab has its own project, but we always assist and help each other with techniques, because so like the idea of our PI was to gain together people with different backgrounds, with different experience. So everyone masters their like own techniques, and then we can share basically like parts of the projects, help each other practically, theoretically, and also we collaborate with other labs. So for example, if like we study proteins that are important for immunology, but there are other labs that study like professionally ion channels and transporters or membrane proteins, and we can also gain some insights from them, or they can even suggest us what experiments to do and collaborate with us on this.
Thank you. Weronika, are you in the same team?
Yeah, I fully agree.
I just wanted to check that up. Could you tell us, because this is like, well, halfway of your journey almost in the BioLAB program, what are your main responsibilities and tasks in the lab?
So as I said, I'm quite independent in my project, in the sense that like in my lab, we of course also collaborate, but each member has their own project. And so I would say I'm fully responsible from the design to execution and data analysis. Of course, that's under the supervision of my PI. I'm not alone in this totally, but at the same time, I have this ownership, as I said. So yeah, I would say I'm responsible for like every step of this project.
But how does like your, day-to-day work look like? You come into the lab, it's, I don't know, it's 10 a.m. or is it 8 a.m.? Like, the step-by-step process, how does it look like?
Oh, it's hard to really describe it step by step because each day is very different. So there are definitely some things that I would do every day, like cell culture. If you are a biologist, you know what I mean. Like certain cells have to be split and so on. So there's definitely this kind of routine tasks to maintain. But other than that, it's like in my project, I'm on the more exploratory stage, like initial stage. So yeah, I just read, plan what I can do, discuss it with my PI, and just try these new techniques to new approaches and see if they work.
And what would you say, like what competencies, both technical and like soft skills, are essential to thrive in the program?
So about hard skills, I would say you have to have general idea what like being in the lab is about. But if you have done your master thesis research and some other internships, you generally will have this idea. Um, you have to be competent in, I would say, like basic fundamental techniques, because it's like expected that you have this more or less smooth transition from Poland to the US, so that you don't have to learn everything from scratch. But at the same time, it's you have to also be open to learning new techniques. That's more on a soft skill. So you have to communicate well, be a good, be good in like teamwork, and yeah, just have this openness to learn and yeah.
As we are speaking in English, so a question of the level of English might sound like, you know, ridiculous, but has like any one of you experienced any problems regarding to, I don't know, the level of English, to understanding other people in the lab or outside the lab?
So I would say that English proficiency you're gained during your master studies in Poland is sufficient to work comfortably in American lab, and even like immersing yourself like in an English speaking environment will also improve your English, and you will see these changes like through months as you spend here. And coming back to the previous question, I just want to fully agree with Weronika and just stress that basically is basic laboratory skills, but also like a strong work ethic, and that what is most importantly your genuine interest and motivation is like the most important things for you to succeed in the program. I should also say that some labs may prefer candidates with prior experience in techniques that they routinely use, but most of the labs are willing to teach you and expect from a student only dedication and enthusiasm. But those labs that actually want to select students with the prior experience, they will just select you based on this, and the rest of the labs. So don't hesitate to apply for a lab that you never did such research before, but explain your interest. So the interest, what is really matters here.
Thank you for sharing that perspective too. Moving outside of the lab to, you know, like real life, I wanted to ask Weronika, what is your daily life in the US like in terms of, you know, like everyday stuff like accommodation, commuting, spending free time, meeting people? How does it feel like?
I think it's worth mentioning that Chicago is one of the most European-like cities in the US. So you definitely feel that. So yeah, when it comes to like commutes, we have public transit. So that's not a problem. You definitely do not have to have a car here. You're good on your own, let's say. Also, when it comes to accommodation, so BioLAB students live in just regular flats, in regular apartments that are rented out from like a regular agency. So we do not have any like student accommodation provided. Generally, yeah, I would say my life is somewhat similar to what I'm used to from Europe. It's not that much of a change, But I think it's also like one of the reasons is because Chicago is a quite specific place in the US.
So you said you live just in an like apartment rented from the market. Is it like close to the campus? Is campus life something that, you know, is an important thing for you?
Yeah, so the apartment is really close. That's actually also like something maybe unusual that we can walk to our labs. That's not a problem. It's like 20-minute walk. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on around the campus, and you can definitely enjoy that if you have time and if you're willing to. There are a lot of organizations, and you can easily find them in social media and like track what they're doing. And here we are treated as other graduate students, so we can attend mostly anything that's happening. And outside of the campus, also Chicago has a lot to offer, from like museums, theaters, just the city itself is a big city, and there's always something happening around.
Thank you. And Sergey, what did you do during your BioLAB traineeship besides working in the lab? Outside of the lab, maybe outside of Chicago also.
Yeah, so I would like to first add a few words to what Weronika already mentioned. So again, like I completely agree on the things that basically you can do plenty of things on the campus. And as Weronika already said, that like a BioLAB student, you have the same rights and opportunities as graduate students. So you can attend lectures, seminars, and even with professors' permission, you can even participate in some classes. And there are also many student clubs where you can try out sports, play musical instruments, make ceramics, go yachting, or join outdoor adventure trips. All of these are for free. So I strongly recommend taking advantage of this unique opportunity and fully immerse yourself in the university life. But another piece of advice, use your free days to travel around the US. So with the salary you earn here, you can afford short trips several times a year, which we do with our friends here. American national parks, they are natural wonders, I should say, and definitely worth visiting. So US cities are also very diverse and interesting, so don't miss the chance to explore them. And Chicago itself is a fantastic place to live, as Weronika mentioned. So we have here like beautiful architecture, a huge lake resembling the Baltic Sea. It's great to swim there during the hot summer. So plenty of museums, jazz and blues bars, like both indoor and outdoor activities. So if you don't spend like 24 hours in the lab, you can do like multiple things here. And my advice to be proactive, make friends, go together to a basketball game, enjoy hot pot in Chinatown, visit museums, jazz bars. So we'll be definitely happy if you try it, if you actually use all these opportunities.
Thanks a lot. And about the practical tips and inspiration for future participants, Siarhei, in your assessment, why is it worthwhile to apply for BioLAB program?
So yeah, I think maybe like already we convinced some part of students after we mentioned all these things, but maybe I can just sum up with like some, like bullet points. So in my opinion, it's a unique opportunity to first work on your own research project in top scientific fields. Second, you can learn here cutting-edge techniques, learn how to conduct serious scientific work, review manuscripts, and write your own papers. Third, you can participate in international conference if you work thoroughly and productively and you have results by the end of your first year. So again, in your campus, also in the conference, you can meet professors, students, postdocs, and build your own professional network that will really help you in future career. Here you can also immerse yourself in American university life, as I already mentioned. You can travel around US, and basically you can start living independently, working, earning, managing daily responsibilities and enjoying life beyond work with friends. So I think all this makes the BioLAB like a really great year or maybe 2 years to spend during your life.
Thank you very much. And Weronika, for those because I called this webinar the Q&A for the undecided. So for those who still hesitate whether or not to go, what would be your advice for those who are thinking about submitting an application to the BioLAB program?
I would advise to apply. So it's a great opportunity, just as Sergey mentioned, especially like if you are in your final year and maybe you're considering PhD and you were a little bit hesitant about that. That's like a great experience to have to see firsthand if PhD is for you, but without like full commitment to it. Yeah, and it's also like a great opportunity to live outside of Europe and see firsthand how you do you thrive in this like outside of Europe or not. Yeah, so I would definitely advise to apply, and yeah, maybe you will get a place and you will very much enjoy it here.
Thank you. And to both of you, but I'll first like Weronika to respond. What is, in your opinion, worth preparing in advance before applying to BioLAB, both intellectually, substantially, and mentally to fully benefit from the program?
Yeah, so prepare yourself for quite intense work. It's not like master's research, I would say. Master's was like maybe 1/4 of what is happening here. So that's why I would like more compare it to the PhD. And definitely bring your enthusiasm, as Sergey also mentioned, this openness and willingness to learn, because there are many opportunities to learn, to experience some new stuff, but you have to be open and willing to do that. Yeah, and if you have some previous research experience, I think that's like enough to start.
Thank you. Siarhei.
Non-trivial practical advice to add here that you really understand after you come. So it's very important to try to take at least 2-week break before you fly to your BioLAB internship. After you like do everything in Poland, before you fly here, you should take 2-week break. Because the final year at Polish universities is usually demanding and exhausting. And when you arrive in the US, PIs often expect you to fully engage with your new work right from the start. So taking a couple of weeks off before your internship will help you recover and get ready for this exciting new experience.
Love that practical tip. And for my final question before I open to the floor to our guests, participants of the webinar, when did you start working, both of you, on your application to BioLAB? How much time does it take? And what would you say is like the most time-consuming or challenging task to fulfill while submitting the application?
And so for me, it was maybe a couple weeks earlier before the deadline. So it was not December, but maybe like January. But yeah, with all of the other master's work, I was not like fully committed to this application. So that's why it took a while. I think you have to take some time to really present yourself and sell yourself, because this assessment is done only on what you write, like in the initial stage, then you're invited to the interview. But you sometimes have these experiences and yeah, you do not show it enough. So really take time to polish your CV, polish this like research statement, interest statement. I'm not sure like how, what is like the name of this document, but I believe it's the same as we had to fill out.
Yeah, I want to comment. So basically, it really depends on whether you applied previously in some internships or not. So if it's like your first time, you have no idea how to write CV, how to write motivation letter, you should spend a while to learn how to do it, because this is like the first step how people select you for the program. So it should be done in very good level. So if you already have a drafts of your CV motivations that you applied for previous internships, so it will be easier because you can just change, you can add something new and basically change it according to projects that you have chosen. So it will take less time. But so as Veronika mentioned, at least 2 weeks, but I would say like 2 weeks is like a minimum if you already have your drafts ready and you have an idea what to write about and where you want to go. If not, take definitely more time. And basically, it's like the first step, as I said. So if you don't prepare well, so you won't be selected for the interview next. So it's really like very critical step. And like another practical advice here I can give you, like whether you write your CV or a motivation letter, speak from the heart. So try to find projects that you genuinely excited about or techniques you are eager to learn, and express your interest and motivation sincerely and openly. So always write your own story, never copy ideas from the web. So basically, you can, especially like motivation letter, it can be like a very personal and naive letter. You can discuss your dreams from childhood, whatever, because when people see that it's your like personal thoughts, it will be more attractive. So definitely take time, try to write like different versions, send this to your friends, discuss with them how do they like or not, try to seek for any advices or comments, and really prepare well for application.
And beware of using all kinds of chat GPTs and other AI generated content. Just don't use those as text generator, rather as a final touch up for, I don't know, English or something. If you really, really need to use it, that would be my advice too.
Yeah, that's true, because people usually see like these phrases that this ChatGPT uses, and it's always distractive. So
yeah, imagine reading 40 applications and seeing like the same phrases in a couple of them. It really stands out.
Correcting grammar, okay, but never like generating the text. Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
If I can also like add one thing, I think for the application, it's also important that you understand what this program is about, that it is demanding, and you have to like own your project. So if you express that was what I did, I like explain that I want to do this project because it is independent project and it's a long-term project. So I think that it gives positive impression that you will be a good candidate.
Thank you. Yeah, certainly understanding both the program and the project you're going for, the lab you're going to, is really important. And that's all for my official question. I will soon open it up for you to ask questions. I don't see any in the chat, so just wait a little longer. I will, open the option of unmuting yourself. Just wanted to give a final word on the record here, that if you have any other questions regarding formalities related with the program, don't hesitate to email me. You can also watch the recording of our previous webinar in which I had a presentation regarding the step-by-step application process. And in which I explained in more detail formalities related to the program. And actually, in that webinar, we also had a alumna of the University of Chicago. So if you think it's only University of Chicago in the program, you're wrong. There are certainly more locations to which you can go to, and I encourage you to read testimonials of our alumni that we publish weekly on our website. I will share the links soon. And that's all for the recording. Thank you very much.